The 15-year-old foster boy I took in owned just one thing: a faded photograph of his mother. He guarded it like his life depended on it, staring at it each night before bed. I thought it was simply a painful reminder of being abandoned. But everything changed when my sister saw the photo. Her face went pale, and she whispered, "Oh my God, I know her. She didn't abandon him. She vanished." Before we dive into this extraordinary story, tell me where you're watching from in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories like this one. Now let's return to the moment that altered everything. My name is Gavin Parker. At 35, I never imagined I'd be sitting across from a social worker discussing the possibility of fostering a teenage boy. But life often leads us where we least expect. 2 years earlier, I lost my wife, Julie, to sudden cardiac arrest. Her death left an emptiness I didn't know how to fill. As a high school history teacher, I had seen too many bright students fall through the cracks. Kids full of potential but without stable homes or adults who believed in them. Julie and I had always wanted children, but fate didn't give us that chance. For a long time, I thought that dream was gone forever. Then I realized I could still make a difference by giving a child the belief and stability they needed. Sean Murphy arrived one rainy Thursday in October, carrying everything he owned in a single black garbage bag. He was tall for his age, nearly 6 feet, with dark hair hanging over his eyes and a guarded look that said, "Don't get close." He seemed ready to run at the first sign of trouble. "Sean," my caseworker Linda said softly, "this is Gavin. He's going to be your foster dad." Sean barely grunted in reply. He avoided eye contact, and when I offered to help with his bag, he clutched it protectively to his chest. Inside that bag was the photograph, a young woman with long, dark hair and a warm smile, holding a small boy who was laughing at something beyond the frame. The photo radiated pure joy, which made it all the more heartbreaking in such a sad context. "She's beautiful," I said gently. "You look like her." Sean's expression softened. "She left when I was 5, just disappeared one day. I've been in foster care ever since." In the following months, I noticed how attached he was to that photograph. He'd look at it every morning and every night, sometimes whispering to it when he thought I couldn't hear. Those quiet moments revealed a deep longing that was hard to watch. Getting Sean to open up was slow work. He was polite but distant, giving short answers, doing his homework, keeping his room spotless, and following every rule, but always at arm's length. The only real emotion I ever saw came when that picture was involved. About 3 weeks after his arrival, I heard noise from his room. When I went in, Sean was frantically searching his belongings, pale with panic. "I can't find it," he said, voice trembling. "The picture, it's gone." We tore through the room until we found it wedged between the mattress and wall. The relief on his face was overwhelming. "I thought I lost her," he whispered, clutching it tightly. That night, for the first time, Sean truly opened up. He told me the few memories he still had of his mother. How she used to sing him to sleep, make pancakes in funny shapes on weekends, and always smelled like vanilla perfume. "I used to think she'd come back," he said quietly, staring at the photo. "Every time I got moved to a new foster home, I thought maybe she'd find me there. But it's been 10 years now. I guess she just didn't want me anymore." "You don't know that," I said. "Maybe something happened. Maybe she's trying to find you too." He looked at me skeptically, like someone who had stopped hoping long ago. "Yeah, maybe," he muttered, though I could tell he didn't believe it. As time passed, Sean began to settle in. He'd mentioned small details about his day, his classes, and the books he liked. I learned he was sharp, with a subtle sense of humor beneath his quiet exterior. But the pain never fully left him. Some nights I heard him crying in his room, clutching that photo, though he never spoke of it and I didn't push. 4 months later came the turning point. Sean got into a fight at school and was suspended for 3 days. "I'm sorry," he said when I picked him up. "You probably don't want me here anymore." "Why would you think that?" I asked. "Because that's what always happens. I mess up and then I get sent somewhere else." I pulled over and looked at him. "Sean, I'm not going anywhere, and neither are you. We're family now. Families don't give up because of mistakes." For the first time, I saw something like hope in his eyes. "Really?" "Really," I said. "And if this feels like home to you, we can make it permanent." "You mean adoption?" "Exactly," I replied. For a moment, his emotional walls dropped completely. "I'd want that," he said softly. "I'd want that a lot." It was around this time my sister Barbara came to visit. Barbara, 3 years older than me, works as a social worker in Denver. She had been a pillar of support after Julie's passing and fully backed my decision to become a foster parent. She arrived one Friday evening in February, bringing her usual warmth and energy. Barbara has a way of making anyone feel at ease almost instantly. I was curious to see how Sean would respond to her presence. To my surprise, he seemed genuinely interested in meeting her. During dinner, Barbara shared stories from her work and travels, and Sean listened attentively, even offering a few stories of his own. It was the liveliest I had ever seen him. After dinner, he excused himself to work on a history project upstairs, while Barbara and I settled with coffee to catch up. "He's wonderful, Gavin," Barbara said. "I can see why you care so much for him. He has an old soul, but there's still a lot of pain there." "He's been through a lot," I replied, "but he's starting to trust me, starting to believe this could be permanent." "What about his birth family? Any contact?" she asked. "His father was never involved," I said, "and his mother disappeared when he was 5. All he has is this photograph he treasures, but no contact since she left." "That's heartbreaking," Barbara said. "I can't imagine what would make a mother just leave. Can I see the photo?" I went upstairs and knocked on Sean's door. He was at his desk working on his project, the photo propped nearby. "Barbara is wondering if she can see the picture of your mom. Would that be okay?" Sean looked protective for a moment, but nodded. "Yeah, I guess that's okay." He handed me the photograph carefully, and I took it downstairs to Barbara. "Here she is," I said, passing her the worn picture. Sean's mom. Barbara glanced at it casually at first, then more closely. Her expression shifted from mild curiosity to confusion, then to shock. The color drained from her face, and her hands trembled as she stared at it.
"Oh my God, Gavin," she whispered. "What is it?" I asked, alarmed. "I know her," Barbara said, her voice shaking. "This is Lisa. Lisa Brennan. She was my best friend in college for 4 years. We were inseparable. This is definitely her." The words hit me hard. "What do you mean you know her?" "I mean I know her," Barbara repeated, still staring at the photo in disbelief. "We were roommates at Colorado State. This is definitely her." I felt the ground shift beneath me, but that's impossible. She abandoned Sean. "She didn't abandon anyone," Barbara said firmly. "Lisa disappeared 10 years ago. She had a complete mental breakdown and vanished. I've been searching for her ever since." The silence was overwhelming. Upstairs, Sean was unaware of the revelation about to change everything. "Tell me everything," I whispered. Barbara set the photograph on the coffee table, her hand shaking. "Lisa was brilliant," she began. "She studied psychology and wanted to help children with trauma. Funny, kind, incredibly smart. But she struggled with depression and anxiety. It worsened in our senior year." "What happened after graduation?" I asked. "She moved home to care for her sick mother. We kept in touch for a while, but her messages became strange, paranoid. She believed people were following her, that her phone was tapped. I was concerned, but I was busy with my master's program and didn't realize the severity." Barbara paused, wiping away tears. "The last time I heard from her was 10 years ago. She called in the middle of the night, crying, saying she had done something terrible and had to disappear. She said people were after her and she wasn't safe." I tried to calm her, tried to get her location, but all she said was she was sorry and that she loved me. Then, nothing. I filed a missing person report, hired a private investigator, searched everywhere. It was like she vanished. I stared at the photograph, absorbing her words. "But Sean, if she disappeared 10 years ago and he was 5, the timeline fits," Barbara said softly. "I think Lisa had a psychotic break. She probably didn't leave Sean intentionally. What do we tell Sean?" I asked, glancing toward the stairs where he moved around upstairs. "We tell him the truth," Barbara said firmly. "That his mother didn't abandon him, that she was ill and might still be out there somewhere needing help. And if we can't find her, we'll handle that if it comes," Barbara replied. "But Sean deserves to know what happened. He deserves to know his mother loved him. That night, after Barbara had gone to bed in the guest room, I sat in the kitchen staring at the worn photograph, thinking about the boy upstairs carrying a burden of abandonment that wasn't real. I reflected on the nights I'd heard him cry, the countless times I had seen him staring at the picture, believing his mother had chosen to leave him. The next morning, I decided it was time to tell Sean what we had discovered. I found him in the kitchen, eating cereal and reading an English book. "Sean, I need to talk to you about something important," I said. He looked up immediately, sensing the seriousness in my tone. "What's wrong? Am I in trouble?" "No, you're not in trouble. It's about your mother." Sean tensed. "About the photograph?" "Yes," I said gently. "Barbara recognized her. Your mother. She knew her in college." Sean stared at me, processing my words slowly. "She knew my mom?" "Yes. And Sean, there's something you need to know. Your mother didn't abandon you. She disappeared because she was very sick. She had a mental illness that made her believe she was in danger." A mix of emotions crossed Sean's face: confusion, hope, disbelief, anger. "You're lying," he said finally. "She left me. She didn't want me anymore." "That's not true," I said firmly. "Barbara told me about your mother. She was kind, intelligent, and loved helping children. She would never have left you unless she thought she had to protect you." Tears streamed down his face. "But she's been gone for 10 years. If she didn't want to leave me, why hasn't she come back?" "She's still sick," I said softly, "and she probably doesn't know how to find you. But we're going to look for her. Barbara and I will do everything we can to find your mother." "What if she doesn't remember me?" Sean whispered as we went through some old records Barbara had found. "She'll remember you," I said. "Mothers don't forget their children, even when they're sick. And what if she's different? What if the sickness changed her? Then we'll love her anyway and help her get the treatment she needs," I said. 5 weeks into the search, Barbara, working with a social worker friend specializing in missing persons with mental illness, found a lead. A woman named Lisa Brennan had been living for 2 years in a supervised group home for women with chronic mental illness, about 3 hours away in Cedar Falls. "She's been asking about a little boy named Sean," Barbara told me over the phone, her voice full of excitement and nervousness. The staff thought it was a delusion, but now we know it wasn't. That evening I told Sean what we had found. He listened in silence as I explained about the group home, his mother asking for him, and the possibility that we had located her. "She's been looking for me too?" he whispered. "It sounds like it," I said. "But we need to be prepared. Your mother has been very sick. She might not be the same person you remember from when you were 5. "I don't care," Sean said firmly. "I just want to see her. I want to know she's okay." Barbara and I spent the next week making arrangements. We spoke with Dr. Patricia Wells, the director of the group home, who explained Lisa's condition and what to expect. "She's been diagnosed with severe postpartum depression that evolved into psychotic episodes," Dr. Wells explained. "She's been stable on medication for the past year, but still experiences some paranoia. She talks constantly about her son, but we weren't sure if he was real or part of her delusions." "He's real," I said, "and he's been looking for her too." Dr. Wells said carefully, "Lisa will be overjoyed, but we must manage this reunion carefully. Too much stress could trigger an episode." We arranged to visit on a Saturday morning. The 3-hour drive to Cedar Falls was tense. Sean sat in the passenger seat, clutching the worn photograph, oscillating between excitement and fear. "What if she doesn't recognize me?" he asked repeatedly. "She'll recognize you," Barbara said. "You look just like her." The Willowbrook group home was modest but well kept, surrounded by gardens. Dr. Wells met us in the parking lot. "Lisa has good days and bad days. Today is a good day, which is why we scheduled this. But she may seem different from what you remember." There, by the window, sat the woman from Sean's photograph, older, thinner, her dark hair streaked with gray. She carried the fragility of years of struggle, but it was unmistakably her. The same gentle features, the same kind eyes that Sean had inherited. She looked up as we entered, and her gaze fixed immediately on Sean. For a long moment she simply stared, unable to believe what she was seeing. Sean, my Sean, is that really you? Sean couldn't speak. He stood there, tears streaming, clutching the photograph to his chest. Oh my God, Lisa said, rising unsteadily from her chair. Oh my God, you're so big. You've grown up so much. I've missed you every single day. She moved toward him slowly, as if afraid he might vanish. When she reached him, she raised a trembling hand to touch his face. You're real, she whispered. You're really here, Mom? Sean asked, his voice breaking. I thought you didn't want me anymore. Oh, sweetheart, Lisa said, pulling him into her arms. I never stopped wanting you. I never stopped loving you. I got so sick and confused. I thought I was protecting you by staying away. They held each other, crying, and I had to wipe my own tears as I watched a reunion 10 years in the making. I kept your picture, Sean said, showing her the worn photograph. I looked at it every day. Lisa took it with trembling hands. I remember this day, she said softly. We were at the park, and you had just learned to go down the big slide alone. You were so proud. I remember that too, Sean said. I remember you pushing me on the swings. I remember everything about you, Lisa said. Your favorite bedtime story, the pancakes cut into dinosaur shapes, the way you sang in the bathtub. I never forgot any of it. Barbara stepped forward, and Lisa looked at her, confused at first. Recognition dawned. Barbara, she said incredulously, is that you? Hi, Lisa, Barbara said, her voice thick with emotion. I've been looking for you for 10 years. I'm so sorry, Lisa said, reaching for Barbara's hand. I was scared, confused. I thought people were trying to hurt Sean. I thought staying away would keep him safe. It's okay, Barbara said gently. You were sick. It wasn't your fault. Over the next 2 hours, we pieced together what had happened a decade earlier. Lisa's mental illness had worsened after Sean's birth, but had been hidden for years. Her final break came when paranoid delusions convinced her that danger was coming for her and Sean. I thought if I stayed away, he'd be safer, she explained. I never meant for it to be forever. I thought I'd get better and come back for him. But you did get better, Sean said. You're better now, right? Lisa smiled. Better than I was, sweetheart. The medication helps, but I'll always need support. That's okay, Sean said firmly. I don't care. I just want you in my life. Wells, observing respectfully, approached. This has been wonderful, she said, but we should wrap up for today to avoid overwhelming Lisa. Can I come back? Sean asked immediately. Of course, Dr. Wells said. We'll arrange regular visits. I'd love that more than anything, Lisa said, holding Sean's hands. But I want you to understand something. I can't be your mom the way I used to be. I'm still learning to care for myself. I know, Sean said. I have Gavin now. He's going to adopt me. But I still want you to be my mom too. I want both of you. Lisa turned to me, gratitude in her eyes. Thank you for taking care of my boy, she said simply. Thank you for raising such an incredible kid, I replied. As we prepared to leave, Lisa hugged Sean again. I love you, Sean. I never stopped loving you. Not for a single day. I love you too, Mom, Sean said. And I'm going to keep visiting you. We're going to be a family again, just a different kind of family. The drive home was quiet, peaceful, rather than tense. Sean gazed out the window. She's different, he said finally. Yes, she is, I replied. How do you feel about that? Sad, he admitted, but also relieved. I spent so many years thinking she left because I wasn't good enough, because she didn't love me. Now I know that's not true. It was never true, Barbara added from the back seat. Your mother has always loved you. Over the following months, we established a routine of visiting Lisa every other weekend. Sean shared stories about school friends and his life with me, while Lisa shared her own childhood memories, taught him card games, and slowly, carefully, they rebuilt their bond. It wasn't the traditional mother-son relationship that had been lost 10 years ago. Lisa couldn't be the primary parent Sean needed, and Sean had to accept that his mother would always struggle with her illness. Yet, what they shared was meaningful in its own way, a bond built on love and acceptance rather than obligation or expectation. 6 months after our first visit to Cedar Falls, I officially adopted Sean. Lisa was there for the court hearing, having been granted permission to leave the group home for the day. She sat in the front row, tears of joy streaming down her face, as the judge legally recognized our family. "I'm so proud of you both," she told us afterward. "Sean, you found an amazing father. And Gavin, thank you for giving my son the life I couldn't provide. We're all family now. You, me, Sean, Barbara. We'll take care of each other." A year later, Lisa had progressed enough in her treatment to move into a supervised apartment program. While she couldn't live completely independently, she now had more freedom and privacy. Sean helped her decorate her new place, and she kept that worn photograph of the two of them on her nightstand, just as Sean had treasured it for so many years. "You know what's funny?" Sean said one evening as we drove home from a visit. "I used to think that photograph was all I had left of her, but it turns out it was just the beginning." "What do you mean?" I asked. "I spent years staring at that picture, trying to remember what it felt like to be loved by her. Now I know. I get to feel it again every time I see her." As I write this, Sean is 17 and thriving. He's an honor student, has made friends, and has even started dating a girl from his chemistry class. He still visits his mother regularly, and their relationship continues to grow. Lisa continues to manage her mental illness, and there are difficult days, but she is surrounded by people who love and support her, including Sean, Barbara, and a dedicated treatment team. Barbara often says that finding Lisa was like solving a decade-long puzzle. But it was more than that. It was a reminder that families come in many forms, and that love can endure even the most challenging circumstances. Sean's story began with abandonment and loss, but it became one of connection and healing. He learned that his mother's disappearance wasn't about him being unworthy of love. It was about illness, fear, and a misguided attempt to protect him. I learned that even the most broken families can become the strongest when they are built on choice rather than obligation, understanding rather than expectation, and the belief that everyone deserves love and belonging. The worn photograph Sean cherished still sits on his nightstand, now surrounded by new pictures, family dinners, birthday celebrations, graduations, holidays, and ordinary moments that feel extraordinary because we share them together. We didn't just find Sean's missing mother, we found each other, and in doing so, we created something beautiful from something that had been broken for far too long. Sean's journey from believing he was abandoned to discovering the truth about his mother's illness shows that even the most painful mysteries can have beautiful resolutions. What do you think about the way this family came together despite such challenges? Have you ever discovered a painful situation had a completely different explanation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you were moved by this story of family, mental health, and second chances, please hit the like button and subscribe for more incredible stories every day. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss an upload.